went ahead and hit play. Record.
Yeah.
Just in case he says something magical when he sits down.
Yeah, like, wow, that felt better, or whatever. I don't know.
I can't believe you brought me roses.
I think that's lovely.
I do too.
He's a lovely man.
I do too. I took a picture of him and put it on a Facebook story and said, "Thank you, Kenny Smith. You set the bar high for all other future podcast guests."
That's right.
Guilt people into bringing me flowers. Okay, here we go.
Test.
Roll music.
Let's roll it.
Welcome to the Unknown Morning Show.
It's the show where we explore radio,
Podcasting,
TV,
gear,
gearheads,
and making money with a hot mic and other stuff too.
This is the Unknown Morning Show.
I'm Mandee Montana.
And I'm Chuck McKinley.
Do you want headphones? Yeah. They're in a basket under your seat. But you probably have to bend over. Yeah. There you go.
Isn't that the
Are
radio?
they not? Oh, they're under Chuck's seat.
Isn't that the radio way? Yes, you're going to have to bend over.
Chuck, they're under your seat.
Really?
Yeah.
The headphones?
Yeah, they're in with the coffee.
Oh, man.
Come on.
Yeah,
I got a disability.
I can reach.
Are you okay?
Remember that guy, the other guy that reached between your legs one time? Remember? His name was Ronnie.
Okay.
Okie dokie.
Oh, wow. Hey, are those new ones?
No.
Well, no, I like the fact that they're flexy and bendy in time, because...
Yeah,
I do.
yeah.
Melissa
No, that's the same pair that we've had.
Melissa and I had a conversation about that the other day. She was fitting it in her headphones in a box, and then they went out the next day, and she was talking about that. I guess the Brits are, you talk about how things lay. We could probably say this is Series 2, Season 2 of the Unknown Morning Show. Because, Mandee, we posted 53 of them, right?
Something like that.
And we had 50 fresh ones, which meant basically by what? Late May, we were toast, something like that?
Yeah, I had this great idea of let's do a weekly podcast. It'll be awesome without really considering the amount of work that went into a weekly podcast.
I think I even said something like, I like talking, but the work that goes. But
the post-production that most people don't know anything about.
And one of our first guests, though, when we did start this, and it set the bar high because we had great fun, great conversation. He's a gentleman in East Texas radio. He's been, like me a little bit, been all over the place. He's been fantastic. I still miss him at 96X because he's not there because those fools in corporate decided to. Well, they did. But he's the voice on onthecall.net, and what that is online sports. That's his baby, and he would be Kenny Smith. Hi, Kenny.
Hi, bud.
Thanks so much for being with us.
Yeah, I was joking earlier about, I only have 3 hours because...
Well, we started talking, and next thing you know, it's like 20 after.
But it's like, if you don't get to spend a lot of time with people that you love spending time with, when you get that opportunity, it's like, you can't schedule crap after it. You just got to roll.
Because you don't know how long it's going to last. I
know.
Chuck and I started this thing, and we were like, we'll probably go 45 minutes to an hour with our guests. And then you sat down, and Brian Houston sat down, and the next thing we knew, we had 2-hour episodes. And we were like, what happened?
We only had one that was 45 minutes, and that was that dude from Alaska that we never met. Yeah, well, he was a broadcaster in Alaska. He's with the NPR affiliate in his metro size.
Awesome. It was
60 seconds into this. We interviewed a guy we never met in Alaska.
But most of our guests are people that we know well.
Yes.
Yeah.
This gentleman was not. He was somebody that Chuck had connected with online and was like, hey, I think this will be a really cool interview. So, he wasn't in studio like most of our guests are, but he was on Zoom. Some of the guests we've had on Zoom, though, we know and have worked within buildings and been around. And this gentleman, what's his name? I can't think of it now off the top of my head. I'm going to put you on the spot. I forgot.
I was going to look at it this morning because...
Is it John something?
No. And the reason why he was on my mind is because NPR and all those radio stations are going to go away. And... he's in this town in Alaska.
And it's vital for them.
It's 275 people in this particular town, but his signal, they feed 8 other outlets, and he has original programming with music and oldies, and it's really eclectic and really interesting. But
there's not a lot of cell towers there. So for, weather emergencies, which happen in Alaska, and it's really rural, he's the source of information for all of these people.
Really?
Yeah,
in a town of 275, and they're about to take him off the air.
Yeah, but he's a repeat. Like he sends.
It's a repeater.
It's a repeater,
Okay.
so he sends off to other smaller stations and
Okay.
smaller signals. But like, there's not cell towers, so it's not like people get a lot of information on Wi-Fi and on their cell
Yeah.
phones because it's Alaska and it's
Yeah.
more rural.
So this is like a military base shutting down in a small town where
Exactly.
Kind of.
everybody
Yeah.
loses their job.
I mean, he has
Yeah.
a small program or he had where people would call in and they'd run it later at a specific night, part of the evening, where basically they were saying hello to people in various parts of the region. Think of it as, remember John Landeker's Boogie Check?
Yep.
Something almost like that. That 3 minutes where John would just boom, 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 boom. And then when he'd hit the WLS jingle, you'd get sad because John was gone, man, at least for another 24 hours. So you have football season coming up. This is your happy time, yeah?
Yeah, it's the busy time when it comes to online broadcasts because there's so much to for mine anyway, and yours. It's the preparation thing has to be done way before you actually start because you have to do your study with the teams and things. But
Yeah.
I know the one thing that you wanted to try to break down, and we'll try to, is that, and it comes down to what all three of us have faced our entire radio careers is, what is your standard? What's your personal standard?
Sure.
Because onthecall.net came about literally, and I think I mentioned this to you last time, Sean Collins, who played center field for the Tyler Wildcatters years ago. Sean's actually the one that came at me years ago before any of the online stuff, and he said, man, guys in California are doing this online thing. You got to do an online broadcast thing, and that was way before we needed it. But anyway, it all depends on your standard, and we hear a ton of broadcasts now because everybody's doing it, much like if you really feel like you have something to say, they're like, hey, man, you got to start a podcast.
I don't know anybody
Okay.
like that.
Yeah.
But but y'all have an audience because we have so many in the media around this area that have stories to tell or that don't ever get a chance to tell them openly to our audience other than in 30, 60-second spurts.
Sure.
We're just doing it between music.
Sure.
So the vehicle y'all give the rest of us is, I get to catch up with Storm. I get to hear the behind the scenes stories, that Doc had to live through, that Doc Deason, the Dave Morelands, the people that had all that stuff. But unless you, much like you said before we went on, some men pay attention to the intricacies when women talk and when they're trying to tell you a story. A lot of people have that stuff, man. They want a little more, but we're running out of time for people to sit Chuck down and say, hey, did anybody ever call you Charlie? And then
Yes.
just let him go, man.
Yeah,
Drop
he's
the
got
reins
stories.
and let him start bucking.
That's
And
right.
He's going. But
Daddy.
the onthecall.net thing, we've had a lot of success with it because of what you guys have been a part of for years, and because you're a part of now, and Don Jones before you,
Yeah.
is we understand formatics and we understand how to keep the music going or the game going. So we've got a great gift where that's the way we look at onthecall.net and our football broadcasts and basketball, subsequent softball, baseball or something, is there's music, there's dynamics, there's Chuck's voice telling us what's about to happen, and then it happens, and we keep everything going as fast and furious as it can. But I love doing our professional broadcasts. We don't do a Homer broadcast. I broadcast for the Lindale Eagle football program, but I don't work for the Lindale school system. I don't work for the football team. We work for our sponsors, and they want to be able to hear a professional broadcast, not first names and we and us and they. And we only get mad when we do something bad or the other team gets away with a penalty not called or something. I hate those, so we don't do it. So that's the standard I like that we're a part of, is everybody that works with us, you included, obviously.
Yeah.
Because you live and die sports, and this is your link to being a part of a broadcast. Blake Cooper, who, God bless his heart, went through heart transplant surgery a year ago.
Wow.
And this will be the second year he has not been able to be in the booth with us. So it's basically just me and Dusty Swope.
Okay.
Dusty been doing my stats for years. Met him when he was in high school and a kid. And so we're down to a two-man crew. Getting somebody to do color commentary, you really need to lean on a former coach, defensive coordinator, somebody who knows the ins and outs, terminology, knows what's going on in the field, and can bring that.
You don't want me in that role. No.
Me neither.
No, but we could use you on the sideline, though.
I'm sure the boys would love that.
Oh, yes. Yes, ma'am. So Dusty has really stepped up last year and really kind of taken over that role. He's done nothing but numbers for a long, long time. Wasn't really crazy about having a microphone on him all the time. When Lindale went to the state championship back in 2020, first time in school history and everything, Dusty got an opportunity at the end of that game when we just kind of reviewed our own personal feelings of what it was like to be a part of a school going to the state championship for the first time. And obviously we're in Jerry World. We're at AT&T. And Dusty came completely out of his element and did about 5.5, 6 minute diatribe of just incredible commentary of what it meant for him to be a part of that, the season, the games, the success, the failures, the injuries, the coaching staff, everything. And it was touching. If Dusty wasn't so private about his emotions, he probably would have wept. But it was so stirring to watch this guy that didn't want anything to do with being on the air. He was always nervous about his vocabulary, how he's going to sound without being a country hick. Well, Dusty jumped right in with the absence of Blake last year, and he just said, I don't know what you expect from me. I said, you're going to have your headset on, and you're going to be hot all the time. You do as good as you can. It's not a big deal. You don't have to talk between every play. I don't expect that. And he jumped in from the first play and took over. So we've got a good, strong two-man team, but Dusty does 3 jobs now, along with trying to cover me up with some color. He's still doing stats and things. So anyway, we've basically got a two-man team plus you. Patrick Frieden is the one that basically created onthecall.net website, came up with the logo, the concept, did all of the design work on our website, basically does all the work every year. And he tells me every year, he's like, oh, man, it takes like a half hour. Man, I don't care. Just send me whatever updates you got or changes, blah, blah, blah. And it's done. So
awesome.
Between, Chuck, Don Jones before him, Patrick Frieden, and the fact we've always had strong color commentators, Coach Mark Spann, who was the defensive coordinator. And then Blake came in. Before that, it was Coach Alan Phillips, who coached some miserable football teams at Alba Golden for a long, long time. But to his credit, the thing that made Alan stand out was every Monday they would just take a pounding. It's Alba Golden. They went, I think, 3 seasons without winning a single game.
Oh, bless it.
No.
And a couple of seasons they went where they didn't score in 7 of the 10 ball games.
Oh, my.
Oh, dear.
But on Monday, the kids would come to practice. Yeah. And that was an incredible tribute to a guy that never got any notoriety for being a very good coach, but his kids always showed up. They'd take a ass whooping on Fridays, and they would stand in front of their fans and hold their hands up, do the school song, and then on Monday they'd come back. They'd be beat up, hurt, but they'd come back and play. So I loved having, once again, that standard met of having great men in the booth to put together a good broadcast. So the whole onthecall.net thing is one of hundreds throughout the state where somebody just created their own broadcast, but most everybody does the video stream along with the audio, and that's the uniqueness, I think, of what we do. And I think one of the things that you love about it is we still have the theater of the mind that's still very much alive.
Mystery.
Yeah, where we try to keep the tempo up, and I'm a fan, so that's what I want in my commentary is I don't call it like a proper play-by-play guy does it. I try to keep the nuts and bolts the same, and I try to do my best, but it's mostly just from listening, as you shared with me years ago, just listening to some of the best. But you learned on a different level because you were listening to hockey guys who are 10 levels above any football guy because of the freaking Andrew Chuck, Lozen, Hobson Chuck, and Chuck this and
Jacques
check
this
that and Jacques and
yes.
Yeah, but we try to keep it as simple as possible, but it's got to be top notch. Standards got to be professional. You will never hear any of us say we or us or I. If it does, it slips out as we try to act like we're the team. But I don't want anybody ever listening to onthecall.net or Lindale football feeling like we're not also doing an equal amount of adulation and success for Gilmer, Van, Chapel Hill, Maybank, whoever we're playing, because These are kids. These are high school kids. And if somebody from Maybank doesn't have a broadcast, we make darn sure they understand you can listen to us and it's okay.
Cool.
We're not just going to bury your team.
Right.
So I think that's why I'm proud that, people like Chuck McKinley and like Mandee, that you guys want to talk about those things, because there's a ton of broadcasts out there, but they don't put the seriousness into the professionalism a lot of times of just showing up a half hour before game, and we see it all the time.
Exactly.
And plug in, and then they're like, oh my God, do you got rosters? Do you got extra roster? Do you know what the coach's name is? Yeah. It drives me up the wall.
Oh, you mean people will ask you that?
Yes.
Oh, Kenny.
Yeah.
That are getting ready to broadcast
every once
on
in
a
a
different.
Yes. Yeah.
Wow.
A lot of times they'll come in and just, now it doesn't happen as often as it used to, but yes. And I don't mind. I keep extras.
Oh, yeah.
And I'll always print them out, because there's no reason for us to be turds and just go, oh, you got to do your own homework. Get out of here.
Yeah. Be kind.
No, absolutely.
Yeah.
We have no idea what their circumstances are.
Correct.
And hey,
Been in that boat before, man. We have no idea if those guys just drove in from a funeral, or they had a wreck, or they late because they had a kid, they had to get out of school, whatever. So I'll always be ready for any of the visitors that come in. I'll help them out. And then when they leave, I'll absolutely dog whip them when they're not listening. Can't believe those guys came in here.
don't you think that play-by-play, I always thought I felt a lot that play-by-play guys are never given proper credit. I mean, you'll hear on a national scale people bagging on Joe Buck.
They've never done it.
And I've still never understood that.
Yeah,
No.
Joe Buck is one of the best in the business, and nobody that's in the business. But I don't know why they don't like him.
And he does everything.
Yeah.
I get it.
People have no concept. They have zero concept.
No.
Even if they've come in and recorded a PSA or whatever, they have zero concept of the amount of work that goes into, and the amount of professionalism and talent that goes into being a broadcaster. Yeah. On any level. But that level is you can't stop. It's live, and you don't know what's going to happen, especially with professional sports in open air, because you've got weather.
When you were when she was with Town Square, and you were doing 5-6 shows a day, and you were showing me your system of how you prep for it. Was it a spreadsheet?
I did a Word doc at that point.
Okay, you had a Word doc,
but I had a spreadsheet to track what I'd done.
But she had something set up like that. And, and I kind of learned from that, too, because when I came back to
I
KTBB,
learned it from you.
But I found out with BB for
it's always your fault, man. Yeah.
But at BB, because I do the 5 o'clock show, I have everything ready and prepped and ready to go by 10 in the morning. Like, show sheet, sports. I'll get up in the middle of the night to do sports because of insomnia.
And you didn't start that at 9 a.m., did you?
Oh, no. I mean, and I'll sit there and think about it like, okay, Thursday, the Rangers and the Astros didn't play, right? That means Friday sports, I've got bupkis on them. Or what do I have? Now, we have Texas State Network where we go to for audio, and this is nothing against them, but they used to be really incredibly dependable, and they haven't been for the past year. So, which means you're looking at podcasts, and you're looking at other things. And that's why I ended up starting to do it at home. But in this case, it was something that were a rare day where it's like, Brian Schottenheimer, and there's something from Bochy talking about the last 40 games, and this is this, and then it's like, put stuff together. It's nice because I can put scripts together at home, send everything to the station, drop it in the system, and it's set. And it gets my day going a little bit faster too.
So your preparation starts as soon as you wake up, basically.
Oh yeah, and when I get to the station,
preparation never stops. That's the thing.
Yeah.
You're always on.
Yeah. I mean, okay.
You know that.
Well, I know he's locked in because the text I got from him is, man, I can't move. I don't leave the studio till 6:06.
Yep.
That's Chuck.
It was for lunch. You were asking about lunch.
After 6, and it's like, no, I'm not free till 6:06.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's one of the things I learned right away, because when I was production director, I could sit there and make an hour and leave easy. Mm-hmm. This is something where you're babysitting news stories. Like the last 2 weeks, it's been redistricting. The month before that, it was everything in the Hill Country, and the stories have certain lives to them, and they have certain arcs that goes. Like even Uvalde, I was sitting there one day, some month ago. I have to sit there at the end of the day and do what's called sort order, which is I look at local and state stuff. I put them in an order. I go back in category or in each category, and basically it's 1 to 10 almost. And it straightens things out from the day where people have put stories in. And somebody asked me, "Oh, Uvalde's number one," and I said, "Uvalde's going to be number one forever in my book, brother." And that's how I felt.
Yeah.
I felt until it's not a deal anymore, it's still the big deal right now. But that's just my feeling, because I'll never forget sitting there as that story broke, and it was like, okay, school shooting, and then as it's breaking, you just kind of get this kind of lightheaded, the hair is standing on your neck, kind of nauseous feeling, and going, oh, this is a really, really big thing. This is a big thing. So, Dusty, he said the most valuable thing to you. You know what he said? Well, what do I do? And it's giving you permission to drive. When I did sports talk with Reed and Brian, specifically Reed said, "Oh, well, I want you to do this, this, this." And I was like, "Oh, okay." Because when I did mornings with Matt Williams, I said, "Well, what do you want?" "You don't have to do anything." "Okay, great." It's what they want. And, if you're in a producer's role, it's what can you do, or what should you do, or what do you need to do?
And it's different for every show in a producer's role.
Exactly. And in your case, that's pretty cool too, because once you get, I forget the gentleman who is not,
Blake.
When Blake gets
Cooper.
back, that makes it everything. That makes the real estate even more valuable as far as having everybody in the booth.
Sure.
Everybody's healthy. I think that's awesome.
Yeah.
Man.
Jamie Holder he was assistant superintendent at Lindale. He recently retired. And Jamie is he's a graduate of Texas A&M. I found out when he retired because we were doing a Lindale baseball game and got him on pregame. His father graduated from A&M. His grandfather graduated from A&M.
Wow.
And his son graduated from A&M. So he's got 4 different, generations that graduate. They were Aggies and stuff. So he's a big Aggie. Jamie is a fantastic football fan, and he's very intense. So when I found he was retiring, I was like, well, I have a place for you to land, because he would have walked into that, into that role, putting a headset on, without skipping a beat. He coached when he first got to Lindale. He wasn't a long-time football coach, but he knows the sport. He knows the lingo, and he's up with terminology is crazy now. I can't keep up. I still use old school stuff, but I was really hoping Jamie would work his way in there. He's got commitments. Got a couple of nephews that have sons that are. One's a 5-star quarterback. I think they're outside of College Station, and he's got another one that's incredibly successful in Tom Baller Kingwood. So he can't come do games.
Buy me a cup of coffee, Mandee.
Yeah.
I've seen that on other podcasts. That's literally...
Yeah, it's like a virtual tip jar. It's really that simple. So you go to the show notes, click Buy Me a Coffee, and then you have an opportunity to support the show in any way you like. Imagine yourself going to coffee with Chuck and myself and saying, "Hey, I like what you do on the show. I'm going to buy you a cup of coffee." Only all you have to do is click a link. It's that simple. Because he's watching his family members.
Exactly.
Yeah,
so he's
supporting.
busy. He tried to work it out, really wanted to. But once again, back to Dusty, it's been cool because this is a guy that's got 3 kids, a sophomore, a senior this year, and a 5th grader. And he lives in Alba. He works in Longview and wherever he can find work during the week anyway, because he's so damn resourceful. But to see the evolution of Dusty has been incredibly rewarding, because of you gain so much confidence. And I did not know at the time, and I'm still getting a grasp on this, of what it feels like to realize you're actually handing someone a fearful opportunity, and they may still be fearful, but it's not as strong as wanting that chance. And I never saw it that way until last year when we got about 3 games in, and I realized he's missing stats because he's concentrating on
what he's
trying to contribute. Yeah. And it wasn't a, hey man, do your job thing. It was man, I'm watching something here that's really special, really kind of cool. And so I've seen his confidence go.
Sure.
And this is a guy that has no emotion. Dusty does not like want anybody seeing a weakness or sadness or anything. He has it in him, but he just doesn't like showing it.
Yeah.
So that part of being a broadcast, getting off the subject, of course, the internet broadcast, which I know is something you want to talk about. It's something anybody can do. If you want to get started, you just, like we all talk about all the time, you just can't go in thinking you know it all. You can't go in thinking, man, I'm going to do my own thing and I'm going to do this, because as soon as you decide that what you got going on it's good enough, and hey, you ought to do football because you're good at football, and we hear them all the time and they ain't good. And I always just want to, man, if that guy would just ask me, hey, man, how can I do this better?
Sure.
And they're receptive to it.
Yeah.
It's not that I know everything, because I still listen to Bill Coates. I still listen to Craig Way. I hate that Bill Schoening, the longtime voice of San Antonio Spurs, I hate he retired, because he and Craig Way used to do Longhorn football for years.
Okay.
And they're fantastic at their job, but I pick up stuff from them all the time. Because God knows we've all had vocabulary issues over the years where we don't think we have enough, or we can't think of an adjective to figure this out. And then we just take time out between breaks, or we try to listen back or whatever. Man, we can't ever feel like, especially doing sports, man, that, man, I got it. I got it done. I can show up 30 minutes before the game. I'll be good to go.
I think go ahead, Chuck.
No, you go ahead.
I was just going to say, it's something that I admire about both of you, and having worked with you for off and on for like 20 years now, is while you are wise and experienced and professional, you're also still students.
I appreciate that.
You're
Amen.
always learning. You're always trying to get better. You're listening to other people that you admire. You're comparing notes.
Trying to figure it out.
And because we know in this media game that if you don't continuously figure it out, you are out.
Yeah.
You will not have a job.
Sure.
But that's something that I've admired and tried to emulate from you guys and several other people that I've worked with over the years.
Amen.
But you're both a really great example of continuing to be a student of your craft.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's hard to listen back. I mean, I still,
Yeah.
well, I have it.
Hang on a second. I didn't hear that. What?
It's hard to listen back.
I just clued you out for a second, man.
Well, I have that effect on people.
Yes, last night I'm having a conversation, as always, a much too long conversation with Doc Deason. And I told him, I said, I'm meeting over with Chuck and Mandee in the morning and everything. And he goes, hey, you going to let Chuck talk?
What does that mean?
I'm like, yeah.
What the hell does that mean, Doc?
No, because he loves your voice. And it's one of those things, and I'm not even looking at Mandee right now, but there's a...
I don't understand that either.
Well, then shut up, because I'm about to explain it to you.
All right.
Okay? There's an acceptance, there's a comfort right there
sure.
with Chuck McKinley. Because once we hear the voice and then we meet the man, there's such a matchup there with our image of, Chuck. And you meet our expectations, and then you fulfill them with the fact you still got the same beard that you had 40 years ago.
Yeah.
And the same wife, thank God.
This is good.
And
This is
it's
great.
tremendous. But no, it's because Doc echoes what we all have, is we're okay with listening to Chuck McKinley.
I was mentioning it before we started talking about Rosie, and she's the one that told me 25 years ago, you need to do news. And I'm like, oh God, no. And so, especially now,
Somebody asking
because
us, y'all need to go into sales.
Whoa, no.
Sales?
Oh yeah.
It's hard asking for people's money, but I would say, and now Rosanna will text me, because she gets an alert from one of the local TV stations, and she'll say, there's like, a truck is blown up on I-20 or something like that. And then, I'll go, okay, thank you, baby. And I'll look it up and go, oh, okay, this is what we have to put on. So it's so interesting for me, but it's also totally Rosanna, because she wants, how did she explain? She said, I know that you want to exercise your passions, and I'm right there with you. And I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to have a good cry now.
Yeah.
But that's always important to have that. It's as I would tell young
Marry
jocks.
a woman that believes in you and tries to push you in those areas.
Said, not that you can take mine, but you need to have a Rosanna Bola at home.
Amen.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you do, thank goodness.
And you were talking about comfort. I remember when you were at KMU in Mineola, you did play-by-play. Did you ever, because I was doing nights at Kicks, but every once in a while I remember there would be a late game or something. You talk about comfort. I'd hear your voice, and I thought it was terrific to hear. Did you ever do a Saturday morning coffee with the coaches type show too?
Yeah.
I think there was a few times I had to drive over to Longview for remotes, like, screaming sunlight at like 8 o'clock in the morning. And I'd hear you on KMU and I go, well, at least one of us is having a good time.
Yeah, it was kind of neat because we would just call them from the studio if they didn't just come in. I'd try to have breakfast or something for them, but we'd always have coffee, as we all have. But yeah, they would either just come to the studio or we just call them on the phone. And most of the time it would be games that were coming up.
Yeah.
Or we'd record a few sounders and run their review of their game the night before or something.
Okay.
Yeah, it was fun.
Are you 40 plus years in the business?
Christmas Eve of '86 was my first shift. So
Really? I would have thought 84 for some reason. Okay. I hit town originally in 84. And what I remember about it is hearing KTYL and going, oh, that doesn't, great station. But I remember distinctly, because telling Bill Coates this week, hearing Bill Coates, and I was going, what the heck?
Yeah.
Because, it's like, I'm going, this is out of market. Who's this guy? Bill is going to the Texas Broadcasters Hall of Fame.
Yeah. November 1st.
Isn't that awesome?
And yeah. Really funny story to go along with that, too. And this may be timely by the time we get this on the air or not. But November 1st is the ceremony's induction, okay? We're in Costa Rica the day that I find out, because I think it was Sunday. The news came down with the list.
Yes.
And Tom Perryman's going in posthumously, along with Gary Mason.
Yes.
God bless their
Gary.
hearts. And we hear about Bill. So I think I had my son Jamie. We were talking, and I said, "Well, I got plans November 1st now because I want to be there for the induction, and I know Doc would like to be there. I think we all,
we're gonna
Bill, we'd like to be there. So, I'm already planning November 1st, and as always happens, I don't even get something written down on the calendar. We get off the plane in Dallas Monday night. And my phone goes off. It's Bill. Hey, can you do the November 1st Navarro game with Brian Houston?
Oh, man.
I'm thinking, okay, wait, no.
I want to be
And
there
then
for you, man.
Immediately he sends me a text. I'll explain later. And it's like, I just text him back. I'm like, I'm pretty sure that's induction day, which meant I had plans
To go see you.
And then I thought, you know what? Do I want to go see him, or do I want to take what is a stress bubble out of his pocket and just cover the game?
Which is probably also what Brian was thinking.
Yes.
Because I'm sure Brian would want to be there
Brian
for him.
wanted to go, and Brian, I heard on the air yesterday afternoon when Brian threw me under the bus.
What?
No, it was unintentional. It was funny to listen to because Kevin had to break the news to him. Kevin Simon, who's Bill's partner. Kevin had to break the news to Brian inadvertently that Kevin was not going to be doing the game with him and Navarro because he was going to the Hall of Fame induction of Bill.
Yeah.
He goes, I think Kenny Smith is doing the game. What? Oh, yeah. He's like, you got me. What? It's like a day off for you. Blah, blah. Anyway, I just turned my radio on at like 4:10, and they're talking about, me and Brian getting stuck doing the game so Bill can go get inducted. So, yeah, great news, man.
Yeah.
And it's funny you mentioned about listening to Bill's voice. Bill did some of the original Mavericks games when they came into the league in 80.
Mavs, and did he do
81?
baseball too?
I can't remember if he did Rangers games, but I think he did. But I think Bill did some of the Dallas Chaparral games.
Whoa. ABA.
I think.
Right?
And I keep putting it, because Bill's not going to sit you down and tell you about his history. You got to figure it out.
You mean we can't invite him on the show and
No,
hit
we're
him
going
with
to get
questions?
We'll get him up here.
You might be able to.
We'll bribe him.
You might be able
Free
to.
coffee, baby.
And just
was like,
ask him.
We've got bribe money?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Well, if David Massey keeps sending us coffee money,
That's
we'll
right.
be all right.
Thank you,
Amen.
David.
Thanks, David.
But yeah,
Brian Stewart.
I listened to Bill as a kid, and it was either Chaparral games, but I think he covered some of the Mavericks games the first year or two that he was because I'm thinking of Abdul Jelani from Tom Lagarde, some of the original players for the Mavericks that got drafted as an expansion team.
Wow.
But I think Bill did some of those games. But he's been around for a long, long time doing a consistently brilliant, smooth, very high standard job of doing sportscasting.
Absolutely.
So, and there is a part of Bill that changed, and I just believe if you're going to make any Hall of Fame, you got to change the complex of whatever the subject is. So, if you're going to be in the Texas Radio Hall of Fame, you don't just need to be on the air 20 years,
Right.
which right now I think is the criteria.
Is it really?
I think so.
I don't.
You have to be able to change things. I mean, or do something.
Yeah,
that
you have to
changes the atmosphere.
Thank you. I don't believe that veteranship earns you a ticket.
No.
I think you have to be special. You have to be maybe a long time programmer to place, a long time maybe a morning person of the place. Sure. You have to be somebody that matters really well.
Very successful at whatever people knew you as.
Yes,
but also doing the things, the public, the community service thing is why a lot of us two included, really got attracted to the job. Was the difference, just being on the air is one thing, but knowing that we can use that vehicle to help people by doing nothing but talking about it is absolutely huge. It's marquee when it comes to feeling personally successful.
I have a story about that.
Okay.
Can I share it with you?
Absolutely.
So
can you share it with us?
Can I share it?
Have you heard the story before?
No,
I don't know.
It happened yesterday, so nobody's heard this.
This is a fresh story.
It's a fresh story. It's breaking news.
Go.
Awesome.
It's not really breaking.
Yes, it's breaking news here. We're in our news thing, so.
So I have a new job.
Yes.
I'm working for a marketing agency, Cause Creative.
And that's where you were yesterday.
Yes.
Yeah.
So Cause Creative focuses on helping nonprofits get their message out.
Tailor-made for her.
Well, so here's what happened yesterday. There was a nonprofit summit at UT Tyler at the Souls College of Business. I hope I got that correct. And it's a gathering of people, executive directors, marketing directors, volunteer coordinators from various nonprofits all over East Texas come together to learn about marketing, learn about leadership, learn about how to better tell your story so that you can be more effective and serve more people, right? And a meeting of the minds, too, so that we could all spend time together and see what's working for you. Maybe that can help work for me. I learned something yesterday. There are 1,700 nonprofits in Tyler alone.
Oh, my God.
I had no idea. Yeah.
That's
Isn't that crazy?
That's different.
It's crazy. So here's what's fun that happened. This is the radio
How in the
tie-in.
world do they compete for $1?
I don't know. Well, marketing helps.
Yeah.
Plug.
Call her.
Call me.
Yeah.
No, here's what's funny. So I'm there, and so many people found me to say thank you or hello, it's been forever, because I had interviewed them when I was public service director at the radio station.
Yeah.
Zoe Lawhorn came and found me. She's now with the Women's Fund, but she used to be with Tyler Museum of Art many years ago. And I had made time for her to come in and record PSAs, and then went and met with her. And Glenn Ballard, that was the theater director at Brook Hill for 27 years, is now with a nonprofit called Younger Audiences, where he's helping kids experience theater that might not get the opportunity in like Title I schools in rural areas. It's a really cool nonprofit I knew nothing about, but apparently he's been around for 30 years. But Glenn came and found me and said, do you remember that time?
Beautiful.
And I said, I sure do. We were in the KWI studio. He goes, yes. And I said, yeah, of course. And it was just this really special moment of getting to see people that I've had a very small, indirect way of making meaning for other people.
Yeah.
But it was meaningful enough that they came and tell me.
It was impactful. They've been holding on to that for that long.
Yeah, because it's been at least 12, 14 years.
Yeah, but you remembered them.
Well, of course I did.
Of course you did.
Of course I did.
Yeah.
But it was so special, and it was neat. It was a neat experience too, because I'm only 2 weeks into this job. So it was neat for my new team members to see that I am plugged into this community. I am,
Value.
and I genuinely do care.
Absolutely.
And want to continue to connect.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, it was such a fun experience.
Man, that
I had the
full
best
circle
day.
thing that we never, I'd say we, but
you don't often get that experience. You do the thing, and you get the message out. You do your best that day, to do what you can for the people that you're interacting with.
Absolutely.
But you don't always know what happens next.
I'm not past the 1,700 nonprofits.
I know. It blew my friend Caitlin told me this, and she's pretty plugged in. She's worked for a few different nonprofits.
Okay.
And she told me that. And I said, in East Texas? She said, no, Mandee. Tyler. I was like, holy smokes.
Tyler proper? Or are we looking at the market, the Tyler Longview?
Tyler, the city of Tyler.
Whoa.
Well, yeah, because I can't. I'm not fathoming that, but just because.
I mean, some of them are probably not very successful. Might be total startups. Might be a one-person team, right?
Yeah.
And then you've got others that are massive, like the East Texas Food Bank.
Sure.
Serving 26, 27 counties.
Yeah, I'm just thinking of the 23 or 25 that the United Way covers.
Yep.
That's less than 1%. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Holy moly. Okay. Yeah.
It's been really interesting the last 2 weeks and in a totally different way. Like that's the fun nonprofit way. And then the other thing that's been really fun and interesting is I have all these weird skills that I've collected throughout my life, because in high school I did publication, I did newspaper and yearbook. And then I started doing radio during that same time. And then shortly after that, I started studying photography and ended up getting a certificate of that in college. And then now I'm kind of doing the TV thing. I do the podcast thing. There's all these things, right? So I've collected all these weird little skills. I'm not a master at any of them, but I can jump in. And it's been so fun to kind of be like the Swiss Army knife person around the office where they're like, oh, you could look over my graphic and catch spelling errors. I'm like, yeah, I want to. Send it to me.
Yeah, but you cover those areas that they don't have any experience in. And you're filling a ton of
or they're just too, when you do graphic design, you're looking at the image as a whole. A lot of times you're looking at the colors, you're looking at the way the text looks as a graphic piece. You're not looking at the words. You're not reading it. You're looking at the block of text.
Yeah.
So when you are doing that, sometimes it's hard to then go back and see it differently.
Sure.
But you get a fresh set of eyes on it. Somebody who, used to edit things. And I can catch a thing here or there for them. I'm not perfect. I'm not always going to catch it, but I can be helpful in that way.
That's funny. That's exactly how I got Margie.
Yeah?
Yeah. I tried 4 or 5 other women and they just I never caught their eye. And then Margie was like, hey, you kind of cute. Can you want to stick around? And I'm like, well, yeah, that's never happened before.
Oh, that's so fun.
I'm all in.
Anyway, it's been a good experience.
Man, that's real love.
But I
story.
knew
I
knew you'd appreciate the public service.
Yeah,
part.
because it came back.
Full circle.
The impact. The guys. And I know we're all over the place, like we all always are. But the tents, the 10 by 10, the 8 by 8 tents are out at Walmarts all over the place now, and there's a lot of nonprofits that are camped out there, and they're aggressive young people just trying to stop people. And I always have to go meet them and ask them about their cause. But I just lost the name. Human trafficking.
Oh, For the Silent?
Thank you. There were a couple of young people at the Walmart in Canton, and I just wanted to go up because when I found it was For the Silent, I just went up and I said, before you start selling me, I want to give you a hug.
Yeah, and thank you.
I don't care why you're out here or how long you're out here. First of all, I just appreciate you backing something that needs some attention. Anyway, and all 4 of these people that I met that day were unbelievably interested in what they were doing. They were joyful. They didn't push. They just said, hey, we do all our donations online, of course, digitally now, but here's everything we do. And they handed me something in my hand without going, here's our thing. If you want to just go ahead and make a donation thing.
Yeah.
But they were more interested in, hey, if you don't know anything about us,
education is a big piece of
this is
what
what's
they do.
happening right here. Yeah. Because
Yeah.
all of us were shocked the first time they showed up at Town Square, and I'd never even heard of them.
Yeah.
And now I can't remember the young lady's name because it's been 7-8 years ago. But when she came in and gave us the numbers and then the news stories that got buried in the paper of things that happened between here and Sulphur Springs and here and Chapel Hill, and the 5 or 6 cases that had just happened within a few months where children went missing and they're gone. So that was a shocking thing. But now it came back in Canton. This was 8 years ago. I was introduced to it. And then people are out talking about it.
Yeah.
And now it's a national referendum all over the place trying to strengthen our laws and, safety and things. So what happened to you yesterday was way overdue, but my gosh, how awesome.
It was awesome. I was just so excited. I was just happy to see people that I hadn't connected with in a long time.
Yeah.
Like, hey, let's say hi.
Yeah, but that is a strut that a lot of people, we don't a lot of times get a chance to enjoy.
Yeah.
So
I mean, I was as eager to say, hey, do you remember me? As they were to say it
Yes,
to
we
me.
do.
That's fantastic.
So yeah,
course they do.
it was fun.
Yeah. Good for you.
Yeah. I think that's going to be a really good long-term fit. I'm really looking forward to helping them grow what they're doing, because essentially it's an opportunity for me to serve multiple missions. If I were to go work for one nonprofit, I could potentially make an impact there, right?
Sure.
But in this role, I can potentially make an impact in multiple nonprofits.
Many different areas.
Yeah, helping them tell their stories and using my giftings in a way that can amplify their impact.
Amen.
Cool.
Yeah.
Amen.
So I'm excited about it. I think it's going to be fun.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, anyway, back to online broadcasting.
Sorry.
No. That's what we do here.
No, and that was something. It was kind of on the sub menu today.
Yeah.
Kind of like what have we been doing this summer, and that kind of fits that.
Oh, yeah.
It does, yes.
Well, that's a story needed to be out there anyway,
Well,
so I'm
thanks.
glad you shared
Appreciate
that.
it. Yeah.
I also think that online broadcasting, because of the fact that you don't need a transmitter, it's not needed, kind of almost fits. Or to me, it's a public service. And I don't mean public service in the sense that we think is public service, that you're doing a public service and you're a public servant to whatever school.
Sure.
Because,
Yeah, that community.
Because, wherever, like Lindale by itself probably is not going to have a dedicated radio station to it. Maybe KMU,
Sure.
I guess.
They do like a lot of the area games. They'll do one game, maybe 2 games a year.
Yeah, but this is something to where, and just because of how everything's developed, where, our smartphone does everything. All you have to do is press a button on thecall.net
Sure.
on, Friday night or Saturday afternoon or whatever. And next thing you know, there's the game.
Yeah.
And that's, that's terrific. So do you have things set up on the call for extra monetizing, or is it something to where folks is it like donation stuff? You know what I mean?
Okay. Now it's my job. So I sell all the advertising, and that money basically goes into running the broadcast or paying my rent.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't keep that a secret from anybody.
Oh no,
I charge for the entire season though.
Okay.
So I've got a lump fee. I charge $800 to a sponsor.
Yeah.
To basically be on 12 broadcasts
Okay.
or however far in the playoffs went. During the state playoffs, and it's one thing that I got dogged for, but I don't know how to correct it, and I'm not comfortable correcting it the way you should, which is ask people for more money when you get more successful.
That's hard.
So the state run was crazy because in 2020 I had 5 sponsors. I still have those same 5 sponsors today. And because of what we do and the relationships we've built, they've literally told me, all 5 of them, as long as you're calling Lindale games, we're going to sponsor your games.
I can tell by your notes that it's not just, you're just not selling, that there's all these personal relationships that are intermeshed, like, you and Dusty, and they're on the team with you.
Sure.
It's obvious.
Alford's, Harvey Alford runs an incredible business. He's very family oriented, but he is so freaking giving and generous. And Harvey's a guy that came out of a hard school, and he constantly is working on making Harvey better. And his son Jacob coached at Lindale until this past year. He took a great job in Livingston. His youngest son Evan graduated just a couple of years ago. Evan was a standout wide receiver. And Russell runs the shop, runs Alford's Tire, Brake and Alignment and everything. So because I'm friends with the entire family.
Hey, they're on 69 between Tyler and Lindale, right?
Yep.
Yeah, I've passed by there a bunch of times.
Yep, and they do 24-hour road service. They're tremendous people because they're all very family oriented. So they're part of that. Doc Deason, of course, the Office Barn. John Longcrier, long history in Lindale sports. Mason Terry, those guys. So anyway, we've got a core amount of people, but we got into that state run, and obviously that's 5 extra games.
Yeah.
But I didn't go to all the sponsors and go, hey, if you want me to keep doing these games, you got to give me more money. So that didn't burn me at the time, but obviously that was something I had to try to foreshadow. Lindale's been so successful since Chris Cochran's been there. They have always gone at least 2 rounds deep in the playoffs, and they did for 7th straight year last year.
Well,
so I decided that
right up the contract clause.
It's still $800 a season. We play professionally cut commercials. We have you doing all of our dynamics and all of our imaging and things. We have a solid broadcast. So I have never had anybody look at our advertising and marketing package with the commercials that they get, the notoriety, the mentions,
sure,
the load of trade-off we have. Plus, we do a 4x6 3x6 banner at all the home games and the visiting games.
Wow.
So all the fans will see their logo at every single game. So anything that's tied in with Lindale football, hopefully they'll be able to say on the call.net right after that. So
cool.
Anyway, so that's how we monetize it. It costs me, I pay whoever cuts the spot. I pay them. You and I feed you like fish and stuff.
Yeah.
And
you go, hey, you want to go to Happy's and have breakfast?
Yeah.
Brother, right. I'm there for the big omelet.
Fish and eggs is Chuck, and coffee.
Coffee. Coffee talk.
I bring up hockey sometimes. Patrick Frieden. So we have very little overhead, but there's enough where I can make a living doing this, keep the equipment updated, do all the crap we do, the banners, the travel, the gas. The travel year after year is different because of the realignment.
Sure.
Every 2 years. This year it's tremendous because we have to, I think our longest road trip, we're at Henderson, we're at Palestine. Our first road game is at Hallsville, 2 weeks from yesterday. So we don't have a lot of travel this year. We're gifted with that.
Yeah.
Anyway, but I pay for all of our meals. So meals, gas, normal expenses that go with any of this.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Travel is basically the biggest. And believe it or not, copy ink.
Yeah, for all your rosters and your
It's not,
stats.
yeah.
It adds up.
It's just my thing because I don't have a big dollar copier. I drive to Office Depot every week to get all my stats enlarged because I can't see.
Okay.
So I have to have everything.
That's like a common thing, though, for broadcasters.
Yeah.
It's not like you're printing it on
I gotta
8.5 by 11.
glance over
Yeah.
and see something at a second's notice.
Yeah.
So I can't be, trying to glance down and strain. So anyway, there's normal expenses that go with any job.
Yeah.
So that's how we monetize our broadcast is just we have a good trade-off package and everybody goes along with it. Smitty's Car Wash, I keep name dropping. They built a car wash in Lindale a couple of years back. They're the ones, and I think I told you about this last year. I got a phone call. I didn't know who it was. I got a phone call. Let it go. It went to voicemail. It was a lady named Ken Sampson. Ken Sampson, and he was friends with John at Town Square. And John had just mentioned to him, he said, man, I want to get plugged into the community. Do you know of anybody that does anything in Lindale? And John's like, well, yeah, I've got a friend, Kenny Smith, does football game. He calls me and he goes, hey, I don't want to do a sponsorship. I want to do a player of the game.
Oh, cool.
Can I do it for $1,200?
Wow.
Yeah, it was like
Did you
out of
say,
nowhere.
No, I will not take your money.
I'm like, well, usually a sponsorship $1,500, but like normal people would do. But and he decided I'm going to do an extra feature, so don't mind paying extra for it because I want my business marquee, out there. So we do a Smitty's Car Wash Player of the Game every game now. This will be the 3rd year that we've done that. So, like anything, you got to have a product, man. That's why your standards got to be high. I've talked to a lot of broadcasters over the last few years, and I try to get them to let me know, how are you doing it? What do you do to put your stuff together? Mm-hmm. And nobody really does what we do, audio only. There's so many people that are doing audio, but they have the network and the capabilities of doing video stream, so they provide audio for their video stream. So theirs is a little more more complicated, because they've multiple cameras, but we don't have to worry about that because we're still just doing audio. Mm-hmm. But for what we do and the trade-off in our marketing package. I say that loosely, but it's really what it is. I want it to sound like we're a radio station for 3 hours.
But your costs are locked down, and you don't have to pass them on to your sponsors. So that's cool. That's
and
great.
It won't. It's not. It's going to stay the same until something happens where something costs me more money than I can put up myself. There's no reason why I should be charging people any more for what they're getting, because they're going to get the same thing every year, and we're keep the broadcast.
You're going to laugh at me, because actually my original question was, and I know about what you were talking about, but do you have things like, for instance, let's say, Lindale football game, do you archive it, and do people have access to it? Do they have to pay to have access to it?
Yeah. OnTheCall.net actually hooks directly into 903sports.com.
Okay.
903sports.com is a web page, a streaming web page that Eric James started years ago. He does Edgewood football. And Eric called me years ago when the Canton frequency was for sale.
Okay.
And he said, "Hey, I want to buy a radio station. Can you help me figure all this out?" And I'm like, "I don't really want to, but
let's do it.
I like you, and I'm going to see what I can do." But trying to buy a radio station, as y'all know, it's something most of us don't want to be a part of.
1510 is an interesting signal, though.
Yeah. Well, Eric he's very interested in broadcasting, and he's very good. He's got a great voice. He does a great broadcast himself. He doesn't think so, but he does. Eric started 903sports.com, added Wills Point football, Edgewood, tried to do, I think, some Canton at one time. Anyway, we're, I think, his fourth team that he broadcasts as part of the 903sports.com team. Now I think we're basically down to Edgewood and Lindale. Everybody's kind of gone off to do their own thing. But we do that through the streaming network called Mixlr, Mixlr.
Okay.
So 903sports.com actually clicks right into Mixlr, and that's where we broadcast onto. So when you go to onthecall.net, you click listen now, and you can hear the ball game. But you'll also see the 903sports.com Lindale Eagle webpage pop up.
Okay.
Those games are stored immediately after the game. When I get out of the broadcast and you do your outro, I push download. Sometimes it takes 2 minutes. Sometimes it takes 10 to download the entire broadcast. I also record the broadcast on the Rodecaster Pro, which has a micro SD card on the back of it. So I record them live anyway. There have been 2 times in the last 5 years where we've lost games loading them up, and I just have to go home, log back into Mixlr, and I'll record the game from my recording.
Yeah.
It just has to go real time. You can't just drag and drop it in there.
Oh,
So
wow.
you got to let it roll. You got to go
Overnight.
bowling for a few hours and then come back.
So
and it's done.
So it rolls off your Rodecaster into
Right onto 903sports.com.
Oh, so it's
So all those games are archived. So you can go to 903sports.com at any time.
Yeah.
And you can punch up where it'll say onthecall.net, and you'll see all of our games from the last 5 years.
Well, that was my question. And we had talked about creating something behind a paywall, right?
Yeah, you and I.
We talked about it, but, you know, it's like any other endeavor that I've, whether you're this or mobile DJing or voiceovers or whatever, if you really, really, really are concentrating on it, it's like you're doing 2 jobs at once.
Yeah.
I don't know anything about that.
You did mobile DJ stuff. You did
Chuck,
voice.
I'm teasing. What I meant was I do like 5 jobs at once.
Okay.
So I don't know anything about that.
Oh, now you don't know anything about
I don't know
2.
anything about managing my time or trying to monetize things.
The extra stuff that you do on the side.
I don't know anything about that.
Yeah.
I didn't learn it from the people that are sitting in this room.
Yeah, that's the easiest thing for me, though, Chuck, is that it's East Texas football. It's Texas football. So you can figure out a way, in my shoes, to figure out a way to get somebody to help you with it, monetize it, because there's such a demand for, we're not here. We're not.
So you're telling us we should do a sports podcast and we'd actually make money?
Absolutely. At halftime during my games. Yes.
You know what? And,
Sure, let's do it, Chuck.
It's the Chuck Show at halftime during
coffee
the Lindale
drop.
games.
actually,
Actually?
it's coffee. There's a thing, and I think we had touched on it briefly last year, because you have what if you created something for a halftime where it would be, I don't know, You
a specialty show.
You had your commercials, but you would run like news, weather, sports headlines, Doc's weather,
Sure.
right? Put it together in pieces.
Yeah.
And then it runs like, and then it runs. But
Yeah.
I
Well,
mean,
we've got literally between 25 and 30 minutes at almost every game where sometimes the bands go long in rebellion of the time they get allowed. Sometimes it's teams that come back out on the field.
Do they actually do that?
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
That's a thing.
Yes.
Band rebellion?
Absolutely.
And we thought it was only an Aerosmith thing.
And it's really not
Excellent.
the bands. I'm absolutely not speaking for the bands. But, yes, there are times when band directors, they bust their butts.
Yes.
You know, bands put in even more practice than the football players at times in weather conditions that sometimes are bad.
And it's a physical job. You're hauling something around.
And you have to stop and play, get back and play, stop and play. It's the bands do a great deal of work and preparation. So if you're on the road and Lindale has traveled to Maybank to play football and the Maybank band decides they're not going to go 14 minutes, they're going to go 19 minutes. And then the Lindale band, which is huge and powerful and big, huge numbers.
Yeah.
You know, there's times when if they've got a 14-minute show and somebody cuts 8 minutes out of that show or 5 minutes out, they're not getting off the field. And we have seen, Chuck, at times, coaches will walk their players through the band because it's way past time to get the second half chart. But most of the time they're following the officials because the officials are the ones that have to walk out and go, it's time, y'all got to go.
Yeah.
But because there's so much respect for bands, you know, especially in this region, because, you know, we have so many bands around that, you know, get ones at contests, that win state championships. We've got tremendous school bands all around here, and they're constantly competing. So I don't mind seeing it because I enjoy watching them when you have time to watch them. But, yeah, band rebellions are fun. They're fun, man, when officials or coaches start walking through bands because the clock's been at 0 for like 8 minutes.
Wow.
Yeah.
I never knew there was such a. Now we know. Band rebellion.
I didn't know this. I was in marching band in high school.
Did you rebel at all? Did the band rebel in Moss?
No.
Not at White Oak. But I can tell you.
We're good kids.
I was a member of the Kilgore College band.
And
I just did it for 1 year, my freshman year at KC.
Really?
Yeah.
What'd you play?
Clarinet.
Get out.
Yeah. I was halfway decent.
Kilgore College Band?
In Kilgore College Band, Wayne Smith was the director. He was also my director for 2 years at White Oak. And so when he went to KC, he kind of was like, hey, you're going to come play for me again, right? Like, he adored me. I don't know why.
everybody does.
Well, so much so, he didn't want me to miss band practice. He drove me to my dental appointment. I was gonna miss first period band because my mom had set up our dental appointments.
That's beautiful.
And so he was like, "You're not gonna miss practice.
Clarinets, man.
I'll drive you to the dental appointment. Your mom can bring you back to school after." Yeah.
Was it like a checkup, or were you having some actual big teeth?
Oh, it was like cleaning checkup.
Well, Kenny said,
bring that back. Try to recall exactly what that appointment was about.
We want accuracy on our little podcast here.
The dentist's office, dentist and the hygienist never forgot it. He never took anybody else. Like, the band director didn't routinely drive people to the dental appointments, but he brought me. Anyway, no, at KC, this was crazy. We were playing Trinity Valley, which, of course, Trinity Valley's super notoriety now because of the second season of Cheer and all kinds of stuff, right? Yeah. They've been around for a long time. But that division of JUCO football at the time was heated and crazy. Nasty.
It was nasty.
Full out brawl breaks out.
Still is every once in a while.
I've never seen it happen before. The coaches, players, everybody was like, it looked like Braveheart.
Wow.
On a college football. And all of us in the band are like running down
Braveheart
to get to close to
Athens last night.
We couldn't believe what we were seeing.
That's awesome.
It was insane. It was insane. And the bands were like playing music back and forth. It was nuts. One of the photographers got hit by a player. It was insane.
You really need to come to a TJC Kilgore football game.
I need to
and watch it. Yeah.
It's probably worth going to.
Yeah, but you got to be on the sideline though. You got to hear the language.
Oh, I can only imagine.
Oh, it's full out.
It's crazy.
Yep.
It's crazy.
Okay, what is your experience with that when you're doing play-by-play?
Just the there's times Bill Coates and Kevin will be at training camp or a Super Bowl or something, and most of the time that's basketball season. But there are always a TJC game during the year that Bill can't. Bill's got commitments, or most of the time it's the 77-0 Georgia military games he wants me to cover, so he can leave town with his wife. So, and that's it, tongue in cheek, because Kevin and I love working together and we love doing games. But there, 2 years ago, Manny Almanza and I were doing the Kilgore College game, and I think it was Trinity Valley was one. The other one was when TJC went to Kilgore and played Kilgore. It's just I don't really think it's team on team. It's just players are so we hate them to where they take over that personality when they get on the field, because it's just there's so much penalties, so many late hits, bad language. Everybody's always pushing off. So by the end of the second quarter, close to the half, it's just people have had enough and they can't wait for halftime. And it's just
because that's when the real show begins.
Yeah.
That's when the dancers take the field.
Yes. TJC and Kilgore is one of the greatest halftimes of
Patchy
all
Bells,
time.
Kilgore Rangerettes.
Because they walk off and then the Rangerettes come on, or vice versa. And it's
and then the stadium clears.
And then the stadium class where I was going to go.
Kidding.
Unfortunately,
the audience leaves.
Yeah, it was worse in Kilgore that year, 2 years ago.
So there's some real bad vibes there, huh?
Yeah, like I said, I think it's just the football teams are so used to it over the years where they take on that mentality or that intensity.
Wow.
And that's when the fight happens, like third quarter.
Yeah. Yeah, you see how our hackles get up? That's when the fight starts.
It's crazy.
Yeah,
I swear I'd never seen anything like it before in my life.
I never thought about Braveheart, but yes, the intensity in those rivalries
That was crazy.
Yeah, and nobody cares if they get kicked out or penalized or anything. There's flags everywhere.
Yeah, I don't remember who won that game. I just remember the fight.
Yeah,
they probably feel, well, if I get kicked out, great.
Sure.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep.
Yeah. Interesting JUCO football.
Yes. Yep. And it all starts. I think next Saturday. TJC's opening up with Dodge City.
Ooh.
Dodge City. That's interesting.
SEO.
Yes. Yeah. I don't. Yeah. Dodge. I didn't even. Yeah. It was on the schedule. And matter of fact, once again, the conversation I had with Doc last night, because Doc, puts out the magnetic schedule with TJC games on it.
That's right.
And I was looking at it because he's like, they start next Saturday? And he goes, I didn't think they started. I'm like, no, it's on here. It's 23rd. Wow. They play Dodge City, and then they have a bye week. Welcome to junior college football.
Wow.
Yeah. So excitement reigns heavy. It's football season in Texas, man.
Yeah.
Yep.
I don't know. I'm spinning my heels here a little bit. I don't know.
You got any other good stories, Chuck?
I got nothing.
You got nothing?
All right. Well, I'm gonna leave y'all with this one, because this one I had to rediscover last night, and I think it had to do with me coming here because it just happened. But I heard a song that I have on my Spotify list, and it reminded me of this particular story. And you're gonna love this probably more than Chuck, but it's 1983. I'm working in Houston. I'm trailing the first love of my life, Kathy Eglin, and I had to have a semester off at Sam Houston because my grades were too high. So they got enough straight A guys. You got to go home. So I went to Houston, took a job at Houston Art and Frame, and it was also a Cabot stain warehouse. And I'm running the warehouse. It's a small stain warehouse, but I'm basically building picture frames. And it's a separate story, but Billy Gibbons brought in a piece of artwork at one time.
That Billy Gibbons?
Yeah. The back of the Eliminator album, the one that exploded with, Sharp Dressed Man. Anyway, there's a graphic on the back of that CD or that album, and anybody that's got the album, he brought that graphic in and wanted us to frame it. And the guy that ran the frame shop said, well, let's look at it real quick, because Daryl already saw us. This guy's name was Daryl Ehlert, incredibly calm, very cool man. And Daryl put the speed square on it, and he said, just so you know, the print itself is not level. And Billy immediately got defensive, and I didn't know who Billy Gibbons was at the time. It's 83. I'm 20 years old. So I just know that this guy this really ugly, old-looking dude with a big beard was standing there bossing Daryl around, and we were all kind of starting to get uncomfortable. And he said, well, I don't know what you're talking about. There's nothing wrong with it. And he said, no, I didn't say there was anything wrong with it. I just want you to know it's going to be difficult to frame it because the top is not level with the bottom. The print itself is off. And Billy was denying that he could even see right. Anyway, he was just incorrigible. And he said, well, what I'll do is we're going to cut 2 frames for it, one frame that will level the top, one frame that will level the bottom, and then you can figure out what you want to do. We can either level the print, but the frame will look off, or we can level the frame. Anyway, he's trying to explain it to him. Anyway, that was my introduction to Billy Gibbons because we did it 3 times, and he came back to get it and screamed and hollered and told him to redo it, and it was... So for a long time, when ZZ Top, when I figured out who they were and who he was, I was like, y'all suck. I don't like y'all at all. Because I saw Billy in a really bad light.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm in the warehouse, and I have a radio in the warehouse. And at the time, Moby and Matthews were the morning show at the rock station in Houston.
Like 93Q?
No, it was right. It was a couple years before 93Q came into existence.
Wasn't it the old Kilt?
Something rock, 96 rock or something. Anyway, we could look it up, but Moby and Matthews were huge. I hear this song, and they don't say who it is. It's just this song just really hit me, and I'm like, my God, I love that guy's voice. I really like that song. And I realized that every day for an entire week, this song would come on at the exact same time, either in the morning or the midday. And this is for, obviously, got into radio and understood any of that. I just realized that the song would come on within like a few minutes of each other every day. Mm-hmm. Anyway, but I really liked the song. Anyway, they said who the artist was, and I didn't even remember. And probably a few months after the song went away, I didn't hear it anymore, I saw this, there was a band showing up at Boomers, which was a club right down South Gessner in Houston where I worked, where the frame shop was. So I'm like, well, I think that's the same guy that did that song. So I go to the club after I get off work. I'm also working at night at Softball Country Club in Houston. I get off work and I go to this club, and they're on stage. Now, this dude has got Europe type hair. He like huge hair.
Yeah.
I mean, like way beyond any of the 80s rock bands I've ever seen. Just huge hair. And he's got a lot of it. And I was thinking, he's just got perm, or I mean, he's got like a regular hairdresser. He's just got a huge head. Anyway, band's jamming. And I get a drink at the bar, and I walk around to where, close to the stage. Nobody's standing up like close to the stage, and there's a banister there. So I'm just sitting at the banister and I'm watching. So I'm like stage right, and I'm watching, and this guy's up and he's rocking, and the band's way loud, of course. Anyway, band takes a break. This guy comes over and sits down at this piano that's on stage that they're not even using. The band's not even using it. Now, these guys are rocking, and they all look like rockers, but nobody's really paying attention. It's a big club. Anyway, he sits down at the piano and starts playing, and I get lost. He's just playing, and he's 10 feet in front of me, and I'm like, this band's taking a break. He's not even going to the bathroom.
Yeah. He
went over and sat down at the piano. Nobody's paying attention. No. And I'm sitting there watching him, and I'm just soaking it in. Anyway, he finally turns around, and he's like, hey, how you doing? And I said, I'm doing great as long as you're doing that. That's really beautiful, man. And he said, I appreciate it. He goes, man, this is my break, is just getting away from the noise. He sat and just played for 15, 20 minutes, man. And I'm just soaking it in. Anyway, he gets ready to... Band starting to come back on stage or anything. Anyway, he turns around, walks up to me, shakes my hand. I said, man, I appreciate that. I'm going to stick around for one more beer. I got to be at work in the morning. Anyway, I go back to work. I get my first job at KHUN in Huntsville. So this is early 1987. I go in the back where the mail is, because we've got mail slots in there. Mm-hmm. I'm working part-time, not even full-time. And I'm getting Bill Schoening his mail. Mm-hmm. He's the news director there at the time. And I went back to get his mail. And there's a single that's sitting on the table where all the new music came in. Of course, back when we'd get 45s.
You bet.
And there he is on the front of the single. And his new single is released.
So who is it, Kenny?
How am I supposed to live without you? It was Michael Bolton.
Whoa.
I see his picture, and I'm like, oh, my God.
So who was the band?
I've seen that. It was his band.
It was his band? Okay.
Yeah. If you've never heard Michael's first 2 albums, they're rockers.
Really?
Yeah. Fool's Game was the name of the song that was on the radio.
Yeah, yeah.
And they followed that up with She Did the Same Thing, which was a much better single in my mind anyway. But, yeah, Michael was a rocker when he first came out. And this would have been, like I said, 83, I think, when his debut came out. But they could play. But he was... I mean, the Michael Bolton we remember
I
being
remember from
soft
the
rock.
90s. Yes.
Yeah, all his AC stuff. But his rock and roll years, man, he could kill it. But he played guitar.
What?
The whole time I was at that place called Boomers, he never played the piano. He played guitar the whole time.
Yeah.
And like I said, I only heard 3 songs, and then he got on the piano, and I got to hear him play piano. And I'm like, okay, this guy was a real musician. He had piano lessons when he was a kid.
Clearly.
And he just got in a rock band and rolled with it.
Yeah.
But my God, his hair, man. Holy moly. Yeah.
Back to the hair.
Yeah. When we get done or something, just seriously, Mandy, you got to see that hair.
I
You got to see that.
I mean, I remember the 90s hair. It was a
Yeah.
lot of hair.
Yeah.
Was it even more in 83?
Yeah. Well, I'm just going to leave it up to you.
I'll look it up.
You look at it.
I will.
Yeah. Yeah. But that was that, one of those chance meetings, much like, Tim McGraw, just like hanging out with Tim McGraw for a whole night. And then all of a sudden, Indian Outlaw gets released, and look at him now.
Oh, yes.
So it was,
Yeah.
but man, being that close to Michael, getting to hear him play the piano.
Yeah.
Yep. I'm available for outings, reunions, and things if y'all want to. Yeah, I would. Boomers isn't even there anymore. I mean, I had that moment, and it was 3 years later or 4 years later, I guess, when all this happened. So
That's wild.
yeah, it was because I really loved his music. I mean, we all did, and there's nobody that could. How in the world can you sing like that for 2 hours during a concert? I don't know, because there's no people can joke about him all the time, like they did Barry Manilow, where they just roasted him.
Yeah,
but Bolton could. He was one of the greatest voices of all time, man.
Well, talent is talent. I've never understood why, and you see it. Okay, Tom Brady's an example. Why people bag on Tom Brady. Now I know what it is. It's pure jealousy.
Sure,
but this is a guy.
I called Giselle like 100 times. She never even called me back.
Well, did you say
matter with her?
You say Kenny Smith? S-M-I.
Can you just give her the message once?
And you go,
not that Kenny Smith. This Kenny Smith.
Oh yeah,
go, Kenny. Yeah. Kenny, this is Tom. No, I want you to give it to her.
Did you play with Moses Malone? Not that one.
Not that one.
Come on.
Dang it.
The real deal.
So where are we in the conversation? Are we going to wrap it up? We're going to wrap it up. Let's go ahead and wrap it up. This has been a really, really, really fun time. Thank you so much for seeing us on a Saturday.
My gosh, you kidding me?
Well, I wanted
to hear Mandy's sharing the story of coming full circle and everything, and we never once, other than me mentioning hockey, we didn't talk hockey at all, man.
No, we did not. Oh, I missed.
We kept it on topic.
Yeah. This has been another episode of the Unknown Morning Show.
I'm Mandee Montana.
And I'm Chuck McKinley.
This is our show to explore radio,
podcasting,
gear,
and the gearheads that use the gear,
and making money with a hot mic,
and other stuff in between.
We'd love for you to follow us on social media as well. Follow us on Facebook at The Unknown Morning Show and Instagram at The Unknown Morning Show. See us on YouTube at The Unknown Morning Show.
Thank you for listening to The Unknown Morning Show.
I'm Mandee Montana.
I'm Chuck McKinley. And remember, be kind and rewind.